And by you making this document and giving it to them for free, you are establishing some credibility in their eyes. You are showing that you're an authority in the topic, and they now know who you are. Hopefully they like you. They liked your content that you put out, which is why they filled out the form in the first place. And now when you say, "Hey, I saw you downloaded my free guide. Are you thinking about moving soon?" They want to have a conversation with you. They go, "Oh my gosh, this is so exciting. I can't believe I'm talking to you. You're famous. Like, I can't believe that we're actually talking on the phone together. This is really cool." This is how I was able to add over 3,000 people to my database when I was a brand new real estate agent in town. I had no name recognition. I had no market share. I went from 0 people in my database to over 3,000 people in just a couple of years, doing this exact strategy that I'm going to teach you today. This is a brilliant way to build your database, not just with names, not just people who can fog a mirror. Like if I go to my daughter's band concert and I strike up a conversation with the lady sitting next to me and we trade information and I put her in my database so I can send her my weekly newsletter. That's great. That doesn't mean she plans to move anytime soon. And it used to be that the average person moved every 7 years. Now it's every 12 years. So if we have people in our database who don't plan to move for 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 years, how long do you have to nurture them before they are finally ready to do a transaction? And will they even remember who you are? With this method, we're able to add people to the database who are ready, willing, and able. They are self-identifying that they are interested in doing a real estate transaction in the market that you service in the foreseeable future. And this is how I built my database of thousands of names of people who wanted to hear from me, who wanted me to follow up with them, who were excited to talk to me for the most part. It just worked amazingly well. So let's talk about this strategy for getting free real estate leads. Maybe not every single day, but multiple times a week. And it certainly could be every day. At the height of the market, like in 2021, 2022, my team was getting like 3 to 5 leads a day from this methodology, 0 ad spend, 0 buying any leads. So I know that this works and I want to share it with you. Okay, so let's talk about the things that you need in order to get free real estate leads. And I'm just going to draw my iPad. I am no artist, so please be kind. We need something that is so valuable, someone will voluntarily give you their contact information in exchange for this thing. I call this an irresistible lead magnet. It pulls people in like a magnet. They are leads. They are not simply prospect. They are actual leads. And when they go into your database, you can now follow up with them because you have their contact information. So in order for your lead magnet to be irresistible, it needs to be free. It needs to solve one problem, one very specific problem for one very specific person. So if you send people to your lead magnet and you say, if you're thinking of buying or selling a home, that's not specific. And you're giving them choices. That's not going to work. You want to pick what is one specific problem that I can solve for one specific person. So let's say it was someone who was thinking about putting their home on the market during the holidays. They want to know, should I just wait until January? Because who's going to come look at a house between Thanksgiving and Christmas, between Thanksgiving and New Year's? Should I just wait till January? So you put together some sort of guide that answers that question. That is one specific problem for one specific person. I made my bread and butter off of people in the military who were relocating to my city. They had just gotten orders to be stationed at Hunter Army Airfield, and they didn't want to live in base housing. They wanted to actually buy a house when they got here. I am a military spouse myself. I understand the PCS process. And so I was able to say, hey, I have this guide to help you if you are PCSing to Savannah and you want to buy a house when you get here. One specific problem for one specific person, and it's free. So they're not paying to get this. They're not buying anything. They're downloading this offer. And if you make it compelling enough, they will fill out the form. So when your guide does all three of these things, we hit that little sweet spot right there. That's when you're going to start getting leads from your database. So it's free, one specific problem for one specific person. So if you're trying this and you are not getting leads from it, is it too broad? Is it that it is not for one specific person? Is the problem not big enough? So if you're not solving a big enough problem, they don't need it. So they're not going to opt in. They think, well, I could probably Google it and I could figure it out on my own. Or, yeah, it's kind of a pain point, but it's not that big of a deal. If I don't solve the problem right now, who cares? So we need it to not be broad. We need it to solve a problem that they are having. And we need to make it very compelling. Like when you opt in for this guide, this is what you're going to get. And it can't be super, super long. You don't want it to be 30 pages long. I've seen people who make these lead magnets that are excessively long, and the person downloads it and they see that it's like 100 pages long and they think, no, thank you. I don't want to read single spaced text. Like, I don't want to read your thesis. I want a guide that's 3, 4, 5 pages long. It's double spaced. It's got pictures in it. It's super easy to read and digest in a single sitting. But we don't want to give away the farm either. If you tell them every single thing that they need to do, they might think, well, thank you very much. You've just told me everything that I need. So why do I need you? I can now go out and be self-represented. So we don't want to do that either. We want to give them enough information that they feel like it was worth downloading, but then we leave them with a whole bunch of more questions so that they're going to want to talk to you and they're going to want to schedule an appointment with you. They're going to want to hear, how can you help me in my goal of selling my house, of buying my house, of buying an investment property, of buying my very first house, whatever the goal of this lead magnet is. We want them to feel like they have a better understanding of than when they first went into it. But now you've highlighted all of these new things that they don't know. And so they understand the value of having a real estate agent to represent them in the transaction. And by you making this document and giving it to them for free, you are establishing some credibility in their eyes. You are showing that you're an authority in the topic, and they now know who you are. Hopefully they like you. They liked your content that you put out, which is why they filled out the form in the first place. And now when you say, hey, I saw you downloaded my free guide. Are you thinking about moving soon? They want to have a conversation with you. They go, oh my gosh, this is so exciting. I can't believe I'm talking to you. You're famous. Like, I can't believe that we're actually talking on the phone together. This is really cool. I got a phone call on Christmas Eve and I answered the phone, hello, because it was an out of area phone call at like 6 o'clock on Christmas Eve. I was sure it was spam. I was sure it was a telemarketer. And so I just went, hello, because I was going to ream them a new one for cold calling me on Christmas Eve. And she said, is this Karin Carr's real estate office? And I said, well, this is Karin Carr. And she said, oh my gosh, I can't believe you answered the phone. I'm actually really embarrassed. I fully expected I was going to get voicemail and I was going to leave you a message. I'm really sorry that I disturbed you on Christmas Eve. It was kind of funny. But then we ended up having a great conversation. So this works really, really well. So how do we actually do this? We need a couple of things. Number one, we need the lead magnet. I love to make mine in Canva. And as a matter of fact, I am doing a workshop in mid-January. It's called the Freebie formula, where I'm going to show you how to create these guides in Canva without having to be a graphic designer, without having any great skill, just using a template and then copying and pasting the text that you want to put in this guide, making it look pretty. I'm going to take you through the whole thing. It's a live 90-minute workshop. I'll put the link down below if you're interested in joining me for that. And the goal is that you will have a done lead magnet in that 90 minutes that you can then start offering so that you can get leads. So if you want to come to the freebie formula, do it. So we need the beautiful lead magnet. And when I say beautiful, I just mean that it's easy on the eyes. It looks professional. It doesn't look like I made it in Microsoft Word in 1997 with clip art. Remember the little paperclip, the animated paperclip guy? Like, we don't want it to look like that. We want it to look nicely designed, easy to read, attractive, easy on the eyes. We don't have a superscript font that's very difficult to read. It's not like so much tiny, tiny text. You know what I'm saying? So we need the lead magnet itself. Then we need a website. It's going to be a single page on your website, a landing page where there are no navigation buttons. So they go to this page. There's nothing across the top that says menu for buyers, for sellers, read my testimonials, check out my reviews, read my blog. Like we don't have any of that. We have a single page that says, here's my free offer. Do you want it? Check this box, yes or no. It's just like back when you were in middle school and you would pass a note to somebody like, do you want to be my boyfriend? Check yes or no. That's what we're doing. It's called direct response marketing. Do you want this thing? Yes or no. If it's yes, they're going to fill out the form with their contact information. If it's no, that's okay. That means one of two things. Number one, they are not the right person for this offer. Even if they filled out the form, they were not ever going to become a client of yours. So no point putting them into your database and trying to nurture them for 17 years when they have no interest in doing business with you. So let's not clutter up our database with people who don't want to be in there in the first place. I am totally okay with saying you go on your merry way. You're not the right fit for this offer. That's okay. However, if nobody is filling out the form, then you have to go back to the drawing board and try to figure out why. Is the problem you're solving not a big enough problem that they just don't care to fill that out? Is it that they don't understand what they're getting? Your title was so cute and clever, and ChatGPT wrote it for you. But when I read it, I don't really understand what it is that you're going to deliver to me. And if I'm confused, I'm not going to fill out that form. So we want to have the single website page, no navigation buttons, no distractions. Do you want the thing? Give me your contact information, yes or no. When it comes to the form itself, this is kind of like part 2A, the form. Do you want to put your phone number as a required element or not? So the more pieces of information a person has to fill out, the more friction there is, and the fewer people will fill out the form. So for example, if I ask for first name, last name, phone number, email address, and then a bunch of questions, they're going to be less likely to fill out the form than if I asked for first name and email and nothing else. I like to ask for their phone number because if they came to this page from a YouTube video, then they already know who I am. And so if they put in their phone number and I call them, they're usually excited to talk to me because they already know who I am and they feel like, oh, I'm talking to this person that I follow on YouTube, and they like that. So I ask for the phone number. I do make it optional. If they don't want to put in their phone number, they don't. But I like to ask for it because if they do, now I have multiple ways to follow up with them. I get their email and I get their phone number, which is usually a cell number. So then I can text them and I can call them. So now I've got 3 different ways to contact them: email, text, phone call versus only email. And not everybody opens every single email that you send. I know you think they do. Spoiler alert, they don't. They open a lot of them if they are good subject lines. That's a whole different subject, but they're not going to open every single email that you send. So it is nice to have a phone number as well. So phone is optional in my book, but you do what you want to do. Okay, so then we need number 3 is the CRM. Once they fill in that form, they have to go into your database. They have to get the thing that you offered delivered to them automatically, and we need to start a follow-up campaign. So they fill out the form. You get an email that says, ding, 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 you have a new lead. They get, hey, here's that thing that you wanted so much. Here you go. And then once they're in your CRM, it sends them email number 1 and text number 1. And then the next day it sends them email number 2, and maybe it sends them another text. Maybe you've called them, you hopefully talk to them. If you talk to them, you turn off this auto reply sequence because this is meant for someone that we have not yet been in contact with, and its sole focus is to get them to respond. It is not to get an appointment. You guys make these email sequences, maybe not you, but the real estate industry in general, where they're always pushing for the appointment. Listen, people are not ready to have a big sit down appointment with us usually right at the very beginning. So don't push for the appointment. First, they just want to talk to you. They just want to know that you know what you're talking about, that you have a good head on your shoulders, that you would be a good person for them to consider working with, especially if they're going to be paying you a very hefty fee. We don't need to push for the sale immediately out of the gate. That turns people off. And that's why they don't think very highly of the real estate profession. So don't push for the appointment right away. Instead, just get them to respond. Your emails should say something like, "Are you thinking of moving soon?" They'll hit reply and say, "Why, yes, as a matter of fact, I am." 6 months from now, a year from now, whatever their answer might be. Once they respond, we turn off that sequence. Hopefully we get them on the phone. We have a big conversation with them. We find out their motivation and their time frame and all of those things. We can start a new email sequence that is meant for people that we are already in contact with. We've spoken to them. We have an idea of when they're planning to do a transaction, all that kind of stuff. But if you talk to them and then they keep getting these emails from you that are like, "Hey, when are you moving? Hey, do you have an agent yet?" And you just had a conversation on the phone yesterday where they answered all of those questions, then it makes you look like you're an amateur. You don't know what you're doing. So make sure that after you talk to them, whether they reply to your email, they reply to your text, you talk to them in person, we shut off this initial campaign and we can start something different. So yes, you want to have a couple of different email sequences set up in your CRM that are all set and ready to go. All you have to do is say, "Stop this one, turn this one on." So here's what the back end of your website could look like. I am able to go in and create labels and say, "This is a lead magnet." You could make labels that say, "This is a buyer magnet. This is a seller magnet. This is for an investor. This is for someone relocating into the area." You can have different tags, different labels for them. And then you're going to see how many unique visitors were there. So how many people came to this landing page, and then how many people actually filled out the form. So unique visitors is, 100 people came to the form. You might have 125 people, but that just means 25 people visited this page more than one time. So look at the number for unique visitors. And then conversions is how many people filled out the form. So industry average tends to be 20 to 30%, depending on where this traffic came from. So was it cold traffic? Did you run an ad? They don't know who you are. They've never heard of you before. They clicked on your ad. Your conversion rate is going to be much, much, much lower than that. It's probably going to be somewhere in the 2, 3, 4% because it was completely cold traffic. But if it's warm traffic where they follow you on social media, they watch your YouTube channel, they are already on your email list, like they know who you are in some capacity, your landing page conversion rate is going to be much higher than 2, 3, 4%. So depending on how big of a problem is this that you're solving for them and how familiar are they with you, you can see that your conversion rates can get very, very high. Now, in my program that I'm using, this is Lead Pages. It says earning $0 because I'm not selling anything on these pages. These are just pages that they opt in for the free guide, but I'm not selling anything. So that's why it says earnings is $0. If they had to buy it from this page, there would be a number in there, but they're not. This is all free stuff, right? And you can see how many people are going to these pages, like over 3,000 people. Now, this is over several years, but still, this is amazing. And then 142% conversion means people have filled out the form more than once. So they filled it out, they downloaded it, they saved it somewhere, they forgot that they did it, maybe they did it again another time. But some of these conversion rates are super, super high. This one that says 0, it's because I forgot to check the box that said when they fill out the form, count this as a conversion. And so it shows that there was 0, even though it's had 1,300 people visit the page. So don't make my mistake. Make sure that you check the box that says when they fill out the form, count this as a conversion, even if you're now sending them to another page after this. Now, I've been doing this myself for years and years and years. I have been a real estate agent for 19 years. And when I started doing this actively, it was probably in the year 2016. Then I moved to Savannah in 2017. I got even more into it. And in Savannah, I had 0 people in my database and went to 3,000 something in just a few years with this methodology. My personal favorite way of driving traffic to this page is with free YouTube videos. So I would make a YouTube video. I would say I have this awesome free offer. I would drive them to my website. They would fill out the form. And I teach all of this inside my coaching program as well. And hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of real estate agents all over the world have done this exact strategy with amazing, amazing results. I have some students who are like making $1 million a year doing things like this, free YouTube videos, driving traffic to their website, get them to fill out a form, go into their database. These people are not running ads. They are not buying leads from the big portals. They have built the business of their dreams with essentially free organic marketing strategies. And you can do this too. So if you'd like to come to the Freebie Formula Workshop, I will put the link down below. It's starting really soon, but I'm doing it on 2 different days at 2 different times, whether you want to come during a daytime or you'd rather come to the evening one. Yes, there will be a replay, but come join live or at least sign up for it so that you can get the replay later and learn exactly how to make these lead magnets that convert people from viewers and watchers and readers into prospects that are in your database that will hopefully soon turn into clients. See you there.